All right. Gothic literature. We're diving in.
Yeah.
Forget those
Yeah.
stereotypical images, right?
Yeah.
Creepy castles and lurking vampires.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are definitely part of it, but
They are fun.
there's so much more to it. I
Right.
think it's really about how the
Yeah.
genre reflects our anxieties, you know?
Absolutely.
Like from way back in the 18th century all the way to today.
Each era has its own room in the haunted house of Gothic literature.
Exacto.
So let's start with the foundation, shall we? The early novels.
Yeah, let's do that.
That set the stage.
So we have to talk about Horace Walpole.
Right, of course.
The Castle of Otranto.
Classic.
1764, often considered the first real Gothic novel.
Hmm.
And Walpole, he was really intentionally going for this
Yeah.
uncanny feeling
The uncanny.
that something's familiar but also
Yeah.
out of place.
Like unsettling.
Yeah, totally unsettling.
So how do you do that? Give me an example.
Okay, well, one way is with the supernatural.
Right.
Like, he has this giant helmet
Okay.
that just kind of appears and
Oh.
casts this big shadow over the castle, and it's just like, where did this come from?
You'd think they would have noticed a giant helmet before.
Right. It makes no sense.
It defies explanation.
Exactly. And it makes the characters and the reader feel uneasy.
Right. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
blurring of what's real and what's fantasy
Right.
becomes really key in Gothic literature.
Okay, so it's not just like
Yeah.
ghosts and goblins. It's about how it disrupts
Exactly.
our sense of the world.
Yeah.
Our sense of reality.
It makes you question everything.
Okay. Yeah.
What's real, what's not? Are we safe?
And that theme of questioning reality,
Oh, yeah.
it pops up a lot. You know,
Yes,
the
it
doppelgangers,
Yeah.
the hidden
Goes
identities.
over the place.
It's that uncertainty.
Right.
Things aren't what they seem.
And that psychological tension
Oh, absolutely.
that comes with it.
It's not always like external monsters.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the monsters inside of us.
Our own inner darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that focus on psychology
Yeah.
really takes center stage
Yeah.
with some of the more iconic Gothic novels, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Dracula.
Yeah.
These are the big ones.
And they weren't just like monster stories.
Right.
They really asked these deep questions about
Yeah.
humanity and society.
Yeah, and what it means to be human.
Yeah, totally. Like Frankenstein, it's like
Yeah.
a warning.
Well,
Wow, science goes too far.
Unchecked ambition.
Yeah, and it's like so relevant today
Especially now. Oh my gosh.
with like
Cloning and AI.
engineering.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah,
It's like Frankenstein is a blueprint
it is.
for all our modern anxieties.
Yeah.
And Dracula, on the other hand,
Yes, Dracula.
he wasn't just some bloodsucker.
No.
There was so much more
So much more to it.
going on there.
Victorian anxieties about sexuality
Yeah.
and disease.
Oh,
The
yeah.
other
Right. The other?
coming in and infiltrating society.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
literally sucking the life out of it.
Literally.
Yeah.
It was playing on those very real fears.
Yeah, the unknown, the uncontrollable.
And it's amazing how these books,
I know, right?
they still resonate
They do.
with us today.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Hundreds of years later.
Right.
Crazy.
Clearly had a huge impact on literature.
Absolutely.
And their themes, they're
Yeah.
being picked up by modern authors.
Totally. And that's what's so exciting about it.
Right.
It's a living tradition.
It's not just stuck in the past.
No. Modern Gothic writers are
Saking it.
taking those elements
Yeah.
and weaving them into stories
Yeah.
that speak to our anxieties now.
Right, right.
Like Sylvia Moreno Garcia.
Mexican Gothic's such a good book.
Have you read it?
Yeah. So good.
Right. So good.
And she uses the haunted house
Yeah.
as a metaphor
Oh, yeah.
for deeper issues
Exactly.
like colonialism.
Colonialism and racism
Ugh.
and how the past,
Haunts us.
yeah, haunts the present.
Yeah, it's so clever
She's so brilliant.
how she does that.
Right.
And it's chilling.
yeah.
But it also makes you think,
totally.
I love that about modern Gothic.
Yeah.
It's not just rehashing the old
But
stuff
no, it's not just like, oh, another haunted house. It's
Right.
finding new ways to
to make it relevant.
make it relevant. Yeah.
And it's not just limited to like one place
No, not at all.
or culture.
Wait.
Right.
No.
I remember reading that Gothic lit.
Yeah.
It's worldwide.
It is. It's global,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
It's everywhere.
The global reach of Gothic is astounding.
It is.
Like each culture has kind of taken it and
Yeah.
adapted it.
Shaped it to their own.
That brings anxieties.
These anxieties, yeah.
Like Japan, right?
Japan, yeah.
Lefkadio Hearn.
Oh, yeah.
He collected all those Japanese ghost stories.
Kwaidan.
Kwaidan, yeah.
Yeah, in his book, Kwaidan. Wait, Japanese ghost stories have connections to Gothic lit.
Well, they do, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they often have themes of like
Yeah.
isolation, haunting the supernatural.
All the classic stuff.
Yeah, all the hallmarks. But what's really interesting
Yeah.
is how Hearn blends it with
Okay.
Shinto and Buddhist beliefs.
Oh, wow.
So it's like this really cool mix.
Yeah, of like Eastern and Western
This Eastern and Western.
traditions.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And it just shows that Gothic,
Yeah.
it transcends borders.
It does.
Yeah.
It speaks to our shared,
It's like a universal language.
fear.
Humanities.
Our shared fears.
What other cultures?
Well, Latin America,
Yeah.
you've got authors like Gabriel Garcia Marquez
Yeah, familiar with him.
and Juan Rulfo. They use Gothic elements in
Yeah.
magical realism.
Yeah.
100 Years of Solitude.
Classic.
Pedro Páramo.
Yeah.
You see this fusion.
Of fantasy and reality.
Yeah.
Where ghosts and spirits are just like
Just hanging out.
hanging out with the living. Yeah.
Yeah, and the past is always,
And the past,
Deadly.
yeah, bleeds into the present.
and they're dealing with all these themes of
Oh, yeah.
loss,
Mm,
memory, historical trauma,
Trauma.
but it's all within this
Yeah.
magical and unsettling
Magical and unsettling, exactly.
framework.
Yeah.
I love how Gothic has taken root
Yeah, I am too.
in all these different cultures.
It's amazing.
It just shows how powerful it is.
Yeah, and how adaptable it is.
Right. And how it speaks to
Yeah.
our human experience of like
Hi.
fear and anxiety.
Fear and anxiety, exactly.
Yeah. So as we wrap up
Yeah,
this deep dive into Gothic literature,
right.
what modern fears do you think would make a good Gothic tale today?
What shadows lurk in our modern world just waiting to be
Yeah.
brought into the light?
Exactly. What do you think?
That's a good question, I think, maybe. The fear of technology
Yeah.
taking over.
Absolutely.
Or the fear of losing our privacy
Yeah.
or our individuality.
In this digital age.
Yeah,
I think that would make
Yeah.
for a very compelling
yeah,
modern Gothic tale.
totally. And the isolation
Oh, yeah?
that we're facing, even though we're
Yeah. Even though we're more connected than ever,
connected.
we're actually more isolated.
Yeah, it's paradoxical.
Yeah, it's a paradox.
Yeah.
And that would be ripe
Oh, yeah, for some.
for a good Gothic exploration.
Exploration.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's so great about Gothic. It's
Yeah.
always changing,
It's always evolving.
evolving. It's reflecting
Yeah.
the anxieties of the
Well,
time.
it's timeless and timely.
It is. And it forces us to confront
I guess,
those
yeah,
deep fears.
those deep, dark fears.
Yeah, both personal and societal.
Personal and societal. Yeah.
So, listeners,
Yeah.
what modern fears do you think would make?
Yeah. What are you afraid of? A good Gothic tale.
Think about it.
Let us know
Yeah, hit us up on social media.
on social media.
Yeah, and tell us.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive
Yeah, this was fun.
into Gothic literature.
Until next time,
Until next time,
keep it spooky.
keep it spooky.
Yeah.